عن طلحة ibn Ubaydillah radiyallahu anhu. Tonight's hadith, inshallah, we started the series of Ramadan, and you guys just attended, mashallah, a lecture, inshallah ta'ala. So inshallah, maybe this gives you a different perspective, but it's about Ramadan. It's in the collection of Ibn Majah with an authentic chain of narration on the authority of Talha ibn Ubaydillah. The story is a bit long, so I'm just going to focus on what the Prophet ﷺ said at the end. But Talha essentially was talking about two men that became Muslim at the same time. One of the men strove harder than the other. And he was, Jahid, can you jahid? And he used to do things with a lot more effort. And he actually passed away in the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in jihad. The second person who became Muslim at the same time passed away a year later, and just, as they say, on your deathbed. So nothing, nothing that's jihad or anything of that status. At least that's what everybody thought at the time. And so Talha had a dream. He had a dream that he was at the gate of Jannah with these two men. And somebody in Jannah came and called in the second person to enter Jannah first. Not the person who strove harder and died in jihad. The second person was admitted first. Then after a little bit of time, that came back and allowed the first person who passed away to enter. And then the messenger came back out to the gates and told Talha, it's not your time yet, go back. So Talha woke up out of the dream and he was shocked that, it doesn't make sense. How is it the second person who didn't strive as hard and didn't go, jihad fi sabilillah, was admitted first? So he was sharing this story with the Sahaba, and they decided to ask the Prophet ﷺ, and the Prophet ﷺ looked at them and he said, "Why are you amazed? What's so shocking?" And they said, "How is it that the second person enters and the first person strove harder and died in jihad for the sabilillah?" So the Prophet ﷺ said, and this is what we'll focus on inshallah ta'ala, أَلَيْسَ قَدْ مَكَثَ هَذَا بَعْدَهُ سَنَةً? Didn't this second person live an extra year than the first person? And they said yes. فأدرك رمضان فصامه وصلى كذا وكذا من سجدة في السنة. And didn't the second person experience an extra Ramadan and fasted it and prayed such and such prayers during this time, in this year? And they said yes. So the Prophet ﷺ said, ما بينهما أبعد مما بين السماء والأرض. That the distance between these two men is greater than the distance between the heavens and the earth. And so you think about this. For what reason is the second person greater than the first, and the distance is so great, can't even measure it? It's experiencing another Ramadan. Experiencing another Ramadan. And so you might think to yourself, how is that? It's not his choice. That's ذَلِكَ فَضْلُ اللَّهِ يُؤْتِيهِ مَن يَشَاءُ. That's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala honors people by allowing them to experience Ramadan. The question is, are we grateful if we enter Ramadan? If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows us to experience yet another Ramadan, how grateful are we? Because it's such a big difference between somebody who doesn't experience it, and somebody who does. How many people do we know that passed away since last Ramadan? And there's still 2 weeks left. We don't know if we're going to make it. But if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us all to experience Ramadan, that if we enter Ramadan, it's such a great blessing. How do we, and this is the new perspective inshallah ta'ala, if we can think about it, how do we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for allowing us just to enter a new Ramadan? What is our reaction to that? Because it's not in our hands. It's not in my hands, it's not in your hands. Nobody has anything to do with it but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if Allah allows us this blessing, this gift, how are we going to show thanks for that gift? This is a question that the best way to answer how grateful I am to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not by the tongue, it's by action. And so if we really want to show Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that, yes, Allah, you gave me this opportunity and I'm thankful for it, and I'm up for it, and I cherish it, and I'm not going to let it go to waste because you gave it to me, then we strive for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as much as we can. Leave it all on, as they say, leave it all behind. All your energy that you have, muster every ounce and give it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Ramadan. Sacrifice your food, your sleep, whatever it is, for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Of course, inshallah, through the series that Sheikh Adnan talked about today and yesterday, you have many things to inshallah you can strive to do. And so this is just a reminder for myself and everybody that the importance of Ramadan, and Allahumma balighna Ramadan, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give it to us, but please take advantage of this. This is, lots of people don't end up having it, subhanallah. So I hope that was beneficial. يروي ابن ماجه في سننه بسند صحيح عن طلحة بن عبيد الله قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم عن أمر رجلين أليس قد مكث هذا بعده سنة وصام وأدرك رمضان فصامه وصلى كذا وكذا من سجة في السنة فما بينهما أبعد مما بين السماء والأرض. صدق رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت